My name is Casey Jones, and I am the director of the Independence Bank Performing Arts Center located here at Graves County High School. We want to welcome you to a quick PAC orientation to let you know a little bit about the history of the PAC, what you can expect when you're here, and some of the expectations we have for caring for our facility. And so I want to start you off with the history of the PAC. The Performing Arts Center was a part of the original design of the high school when it was built in the 80s, but for funding they put a pause on that, but as the Fine Arts Department here grew, they began to see that there was a huge need for a facility dedicated to the fine arts here. Before the PAC was here, the performances happened in the Commons, if you can imagine. So it was a really, small space to try to have the kind of performances that we wanted to have. And so we're very, very fortunate that our district invested in the Performing Arts Center to be an educational facility for our district and to give opportunities to our entire district, from our elementary schools to the middle school and most often the high school. The PAC was built in 2007. I began here with you guys in 2015, so I'm excited to be celebrating my 8th school year with you guys. We are very proud of our students and our staff and the facility that they have to use. We seat about 470 people. And when you're in the PAC, you could see things from instructional time to concerts, productions. We host rentals, outside regional events, trainings. You may be in the PAC for a variety of reasons. And as I said, we are proud that it's used most of all for our fine arts and all the talent that they bring. We want to have a facility that is capable of showcasing their talents, and we're proud to have a place where they can do so.
Thank you, Casey, for that introduction. Normally we have done this PAC orientation in the PAC and had all you guys come in, but we see two flaws with that. Some of you see this multiple times and others don't get to see it at all. So we want all of our GC students to make sure that they understand about the PAC happenings. And so like Casey had said, we are very proud of this facility and we want to maintain that. So there are some specific rules and guidelines for this part of our building that are different than the rest of the building. So number one, no food, no drink, no gum anywhere in this facility. And I know that's hard because I'm one, Casey, that I love to have my Propel or whatever with me, but that's something that I've got to leave at the door, so even when I walk in here. So let's just make sure that we keep those things out of the PAC. Also, there have been times that I've come in here and I've seen students prop their feet up on the seats. That's another thing that we want to make sure you keep your feet on the floor, because we want this PAC to be something that we are proud of for years and years to come. So we want to make sure that we maintain that. So with that being said, we are strict when we come into the PAC. We want this to be open to everybody as they have it reserved, but we want to make sure that you're following those rules and guidelines. So we have cameras set up in here, so anytime that there's something suspicious, we can go back, review that footage. We don't ever want to do that, but we certainly can. Other thing, this is an off-limits area, so there are parts of our high school that are off-limits if it's not in use at that time, and this is one of those places. So if you're not in here with a teacher and you don't have permission to be in here for a class, then this is one of those times that it's off limits to you. So just make sure that you're following our rules and guidelines, because we want to make sure that we keep the PAC as nice as possible. Also, we do have a catwalk in here, so the next time you're in here, check out our catwalk. And we have some dressing rooms. Both of those places are off limits at all times, unless you have Miss Casey or your teachers are in here and you have specific instructions, but those are very few and far between that those students have those. So can you think of anything that I've forgotten as far as our PAC rules? Okay, orchestra pit. Like, we have an orchestra pit that we only open up once a year, and that is during our musical theater performance. And so when that becomes open, it's October. That is all roped off. So if you're in here for any reason, make sure during that time you will see that it's roped off. Make sure that you steer clear of that, because again, we do have cameras in here. That's a very dangerous area for anybody, so we want to make sure that you are not putting yourself in that situation. So you will know, because again, it's roped off.
Yes.
Anything else that you can think of?
I think we're good.
Okay, well, if you could wrap us up maybe and talk a little bit about specifics. So this is specifically to our fine arts kids that are part of performances, and so Miss Casey's got some guidelines for you.
Sure. It is primarily for our fine arts students, but we do have occasionally some of our high school groups that do use our tech, such as our microphones or our theatrical lighting. And so what we want you to keep in mind is that your mic, especially if you're wearing a dedicated mic, and what I mean by that is you have a wireless pack and you're wearing maybe a lapel or a headset, all of that equipment is very expensive, and we want to take care of that. And so one of the ways we do that to mitigate any kind of chances for something to happen is Miss Casey will put your mic on, and Miss Casey is the one that will take it off. In very rare occasions, we may have a teacher that is in the wings that may help us, but our preference is that those again is a very rare situation. Our preference is that I'm the one that puts it on, I'm the one that takes it off, so we can make sure that everything's being handled in the way that it needs to be handled and our equipment lasts for a very long time. There will be some situations where some of you, if you're not a fine arts student, that you will be using a handheld. So handhelds, we want to be very careful with, that we're not throwing them around or shuffling them around, and that we're handling them very carefully, and that again, that those are not set in any place where they would roll off or be dropped, and those will be returned to Miss Casey when you're finished. So I think that's pretty much the guidelines for our equipment. We thank you so much for your time and your attention today, and for your help in taking care of the Performing Arts Center here at Graves County High School. We want to share with you there's some exciting things that are going on in the PAC. You can always look on our website or follow us on social media in order to find out what's happening in the PAC and how you can support your fellow students and peers and our staff. This fall, we are super excited to bring a wonderful lineup to you for our season event series, and in November you'll be able to see our symphony orchestra and the musical theater class and our production class. They're coming together to bring you Disney Descendants. In December, we'll have Candy Cane Classic, which is always a favorite for our community. In February, we'll do Sweetheart Serenade. And in April, we'll have Curtain Call, which is the culmination of our entire year, and our fine arts students, some of them, their last performance with us. So we are super excited to feature our fine arts students and our staff, and we hope that you'll come and support them.
Thank you, Casey. I'm always looking forward to a year with our fine arts students, and I'm so thankful to be a part of this group, and I look forward to having students in the seat.
Absolutely.